Hey, it's Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to the Black Belt Leadership Podcast, where each week I'm sharing tips, tools, insights, and resources to help you become a better version of who you are and what you do as you discover, develop, and deploy your Black Belt Leader within. Today, I want to talk about leadership by the numbers and the 5 behaviors of effective leadership. I want to open with a question, and I want you to pause for just a moment and give some thought to this opening question. Are leaders born or are they made? Now, give some thought to that for a moment. Are leaders born or are they made? Well, let me give you my thought. Of course, leaders are born. That's a given. I mean, I've never met a leader who wasn't born. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. But just being born doesn't make you a leader any more than swimming in the lake makes you a fish. Leadership isn't a birthright, it's a learned behavior. But the problem I see today in businesses and organizations, and even in families all around the world, is that too many of us equate leadership with status, with lineage, with our family tree, or with a position or a title. But in reality, nothing can be farther from the truth. You know, I love Mark Sanborn, author Mark Sanborn. Love his book, You Don't Need a Title to Be a Leader. If you've never had an opportunity to pick that book up on Amazon, I encourage you to do so. It's a must-read book. And if you own it and you haven't read it in a while, get it off the shelf, dust it off, reread it. Some great insights in that book. But I agree with Mark's statement, and I love the title of that book. You don't need a title to be a leader. Now, I agree with that statement because anyone can lead. And in fact, all of us are leading someone somewhere right now, even if the only person we're leading is ourselves. Now, the question we've got to answer at the end of the day is this: how well are we leading? So from time to time when I'm speaking, I'll reference Mark Sanborn's book, and I encourage people to pick it up, but I'll say it this way. You know, author Mark Sanborn said it well when he stated in his book titled, You Don't Need a Title to Be a Leader. Exactly that. You don't need a title to be a leader. But I take it a little bit farther. Just because you have a title, that in itself doesn't make you a leader. You know, that's a very obvious truth, but it's often overlooked because we tend to equate titles and positions with leadership. And it's interesting because as I travel around the United States and to different countries around the world, I interact with businesses, with organizations, and different groups of people that have other people in positions of authority who don't have a clue, don't have an inkling what it means to lead. I'm talking about shift leaders, department heads, assistant managers, managers, divisional vice presidents, regional vice presidents, national vice presidents, and even presidents and CEOs of organizations. Every one of those is a title, but just because they have a title, here's what I can tell you and what I've observed over decades in this industry. Very few of them are really leading. Now, why would I say that? Because leadership is about people. We lead people. But far too many people want to manage people and not lead them. Management is about systems and processes. We manage systems, we manage processes, and we manage tasks. Now, there's a huge difference between leading people and managing processes. But I see far too many people with a title or a position, and what are they trying to do? Manage people and lead processes, if processes and systems even exist in their business. Now, maybe that's why the vast majority of businesses that I meet with are operating somewhere between 25 and 35% efficiency when we measure how effective they are at various areas of operation in their business. Why is that the case? Why are most organizations only 25 to 35% effective? Because when you don't know how to lead people, you don't know how to get the best out of them. And when you can't get the best out of your people, you're going to fail to scale productivity. you're going to fail in getting the results you want and the profits you desire to make your business truly successful. If all you're doing is managing people and you're trying to lead processes, that's a recipe for, at best, mediocre, average, and lackluster. And at worst, it's a recipe for failure. Now, that begs the question, is there a way to measure leadership? As we're looking for leaders within an organization, are there key attributes we need to be paying attention to and we need to be looking for as entrepreneurs, business owners, and leaders in our organization? And if you feel called to leadership, are there certain characteristics that you need to cultivate in your own life in order to become a more effective black belt leader? Well, shameless plug to get started. In my book, Black Belt Leadership 101, available at my website, blackbeltleadership.com, or on amazon.com, Black Belt Leadership 101, in that book, I highlight the 10 essential character qualities of becoming a black belt leader. The chapters in that book and the self-study guide in the back that lets you go through and lead facilitated study for yourself or for a group of people around each of these character qualities. This book is a must read for anyone who wants to master the art of leading themselves well, making good choices, or teaching other people to do the same. And if you don't want to read the book, you can go to my website, blackbeltleadership.com, and you can sign up for my masterclass where I take you through an in-depth, deep dive of each of those 10 essential character qualities. But that's not the focus of today's lesson. In today's lesson, I want to highlight 5 specific behaviors of effective leadership. Without these behaviors, you've only got a title or a position, but you're going to be ineffective as a leader, even if the title or position has been given to you. You're at best a manager, but you're not a leader. So let's jump in and let's take a look at leadership by the numbers, and let's examine the 5 behaviors of effective leadership. First, leaders lead by example. Now, good leaders model the behaviors they want to see in those who are following, so that consistently over time, their followers are going to see the type of leadership that the leader truly wants them to emulate in their lives. And as people consistently see you leading yourself well, making good choices, and modeling positive leadership qualities, here's what's going to happen. Those that are following you, that you're spending time with and you're living life with, they're going to embrace and ultimately adopt these behaviors into their lives. You know, Les Brown said it well. We become the sum total of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And the people that are spending quality time with you, you want to model leadership well, because people do what people see. And if they're going to become the sum total of what they see in you, let the example of leadership in you be exemplary. Now, when you lead by example, what are you doing? You're modeling good leadership values before other people. It's important to remember that leaders do daily what other people do sometimes or not at all. Now, let me say that again, because I quote that a lot in my teachings and trainings. Leaders do daily what other people do sometimes or not at all. Now, good leaders and great leaders are men and women of good value and good character. They are values driven in the way they live their lives, and they model good character because they want men and women of good character in their organization. And that's how you get that, by modeling good character before them. As a leader, you're an individual who values people, and you seek every opportunity to add value to them. Now, good leaders are also committed to personal growth. I talk about this often in my podcast, and I write about it in my writings. Good leaders daily strive to become a better version of themselves than they were the day before. And not only that, they invite others on the team to join them on this journey of personal growth as they develop the leaders around them. Good leaders develop the leaders around them because those leaders will one day take their place. Now, great leaders are also willing to roll up their sleeves and get dirty right alongside with those they're leading. Good leaders are willing to do what they ask other people to do, and they know how not just to do it, but they know how to do it and do it well. In the event someone's not there, the leader can step in and perform every function on the team. That's a sign of a good leader who leads by example. Now, the second behavior is this: leaders are vision casters and they're cheerleaders. They're continually sharing the overarching why the organization they lead exists, who the audience is, and how they're going to serve them with excellence. And they continually cast that vision so that the team members see it repeatedly. They hear it repeatedly to the point that they believe it and they embrace it. Now, this is important because when people know who the organization is serving, how that organization needs to serve them to accomplish its overarching why, here's what happens. You create a collaborative environment where people come together to collectively strive for excellence and serve their audience at the highest level. Now, the audience are the clients and customers that you serve in your business. Now, to build on this a little more, good leaders are not only great vision casters that continually cast vision because vision leaks and continually needs to be reinforced. Good leaders don't only just point the way, they're also the cheerleaders who rally the troops and encourage the team and celebrate the successes they experience along the way. Every time they score a field goal or a touchdown, or they make a basket, or they shoot a free throw, figuratively speaking, the cheerleaders are there. The leaders on the team are there to give them an attaboy, an attagirl, a high five, a pat on the back, to celebrate the win, because what gets rewarded gets repeated. Now, it's important to remember that when leaders value people, they're invested in their personal welfare and their well-being. Celebrating their successes and letting them know they are valued and appreciated is one of the ways you do that. It extends beyond just the mission of what we're setting out to do as an organization, but to also include the personal mission of the people who are achieving it and what is important to them personally to feel satisfaction for a job well done. Now, when leaders act as cheerleaders, it invites the buy-in of every individual on the team. And when you've got the buy-in of the individuals on the team, everybody, every member of the team is now dedicated and committed to achieving the organization's desired outcome, creating an exceptional experience for the audience they serve, so they keep coming back and wanting that experience again and again and again. Now, the third behavior is this: good leaders avoid conflict whenever it's possible, but when conflict isn't avoidable, they face it head on. They're also selective regarding which issues they're going to take on themselves and which issues they're going to allow other members of the team to tackle and manage by themselves. When conflicts arise, and they're going to arise in business and in life, when those conflicts arise, good leaders collaborate with the team. They invite input to identify the best solution to implement as a team. Good leaders understand that all of us collectively are better than any one of us. And others on the team may see a solution a leader may overlook, or they may see things in a different way to bring about a desired outcome. When leaders invite collaboration and they agree on the front end that it doesn't matter who brings the best answer is always going to win regardless of who brought it to the table, it creates and invites an environment of collaboration where people begin to think outside the box. And as we all bring different life experience to the table and we see things differently, collectively, we're going to see a variety of ways to get things done that are going to allow us to continually improve the systems and the processes and make them better as we're leading people and managing processes. Now, good leaders also understand that sometimes you win, but every time you learn. So good leaders are going to reflect upon the wins and the losses individually, but also collaboratively with the team. They're going to identify the lessons learned, and everyone gets a chance to share what they've learned from the successes, what they've learned from failures, and together they're going to implement what they've learned to continue to learn, to grow, and to improve as an organization. Now, the fourth behavior of effective leadership is this. Good leaders are going to foster an environment of open dialogue and the sharing of ideas. Just building on what we just talked about in the third behavior. Leaders understand that we all see the world differently. We all have our own unique life experience. And if you've had an opportunity to take individuals through DISC, through real life management, or through some other assessment, you know we all process, prioritize, think, and we see the world in different ways. But when we all come together, the plurality of what we understand individually is shared and is multiplied. But it's through the exploring of all the available options that the team brings to the table in open dialogue where the best idea can be identified, evaluated, and implemented. Do you get those big wins that move you further towards achieving that overarching why again and again and again? Now, good leaders also empower people within the organization to lead in their areas of their giftedness. Good leaders recognize the strengths of each individual on the team, and because they know what they're good at, and more importantly, what they're best at, they put them in positions where they can excel at what they're best at doing. That's why assessment tools like real life management, DISC, Working Genius, EQI, and other assessment tools we have available here at Black Belt Leadership can help you understand the uniqueness of who's on your team and how to make sure that everybody is in the right seat in the rowboat and every oar is striking the water at the same time to move that boat from one end of the lake to the other. This is how you get more wins as an organization. But remember, once you give somebody on your team the opportunity to step into the greatness of who they are, the leader then gives them the autonomy to do that their way. And when this happens, you create a non-leader dependent team that gets more things done in less time, and the leader doesn't have to be a micromanager, standing over everyone and demanding they get things done and constantly inserting his or her ideas of how to get it done. Good leaders empower their people and they let them lead. Now, contrast that to poor leaders who are insecure and they're more concerned about control, about image, and about their personal ego than they are about seeing the team achieve a win. For a poor leader, it's all about the leader, not everybody else. A poor leader is often going to give assignments based upon favoritism or to serve their own self-interest. They may give people an assignment they know they can't do, so they have the opportunity to step in and show how smart, how gifted and talented they are, and stepping in to micromanage or take it over. And instead of empowering people to lead themselves and do it their way to get it done, the leader wants to micromanage and show how important he or she is. You know, poor leaders still want to win, but they want the win to be about them and not about the team. That is not how you cultivate a highly functioning, non-leader dependent team that gets more done in less time and serves the overarching why of the organization. Now, good leaders are constantly developing the leaders around them. And as the team grows, the collective vision and the collective insight expand. And when this happens, more and better ideas are always the outcome. And at the end of the day, this leads to more collective wins for the team. Now, finally, behavior number 5, good leaders are relationship driven. They understand that one of their greatest assets, if not their greatest asset, is their people. Now, why do I say that? The people on your team, the people in your organization, hear me when I say this, they are the face, the voice, the hands, and the feet of the organization that you are leading. They are your face, your hands, your voice, and your feet to the audience that you serve. And as such, you want to make sure that you empower them to lead. You build relationship with them, and you see the members of your team as an extended member of your family. And you as a leader, you as an entrepreneur, you as a business owner, treat them accordingly. Now, good leaders get to know their team members on a personal level. They get to know who their spouse is, who their children are, what their children are doing, and they celebrate the individual wins of those individuals and their families. Good leaders are committed not just to the overarching why of the organization, but they're committed to every individual on the team. They're committed to their welfare and their well-being. Good leaders focus on building trust and rapport, and they extend trust while at the same time giving the team members an opportunity to build trust in them. Good leaders intentionally foster a collaborative environment where the best idea is always going to win, and everyone on the team is working toward a common goal together. The organization's overarching why, serving your customer, your client, your audience with exceptional value. Now, it's also important to remember in this 5th behavior that good leaders are not only relationship focused, they're servant leaders. And because they're servant leaders, they're going to serve team members in a variety of ways. I've already talked about good leaders getting to know the individuals on their team, their spouse, their children, what's important to them. Good leaders are going to get to know their team on a personal level, and they want the best for each individual on the team. If someone is sick and they can't come in, a good leader is going to reach out and check on that individual and see if there's something they or the organization can do to help that individual during that time of sickness, injury, or time that they're away from work because of a tragedy or something else going on. There's empathy that is shown as members care for one another. And when leaders show they care, other team members care about the leader. And leaders care because they understand each team member, each individual is a valuable part of the overall organizational family, and each team member contributes to the organizational success. Now, a good leader understands their role as a leader is what? To raise up other leaders who will one day take their place. Now, this can't happen without the leader truly getting to know his or her people on a personal level, investing in their welfare and their well-being, and empowering them daily to lead themselves, teaching them how to effectively lead others, and giving each individual an opportunity to rise to their full potential as they discover, develop, and deploy their own unique black belt leader within. Now, these 5 behaviors that we've covered today is leadership by the numbers. And it's how you as a leader, you as a business owner, an entrepreneur, learn to recognize individuals in your organization who may not yet have a title, who may not yet have a position, but have the ability to lead and lead well. And when you see them, and you will, invest these 5 behaviors in growing them as effective leaders. Remember, your role as a leader is to raise up leaders who will one day take your place. And the best leaders are going to do everything possible to help these leaders that are growing, learning, and maturing to learn everything that they have learned and then some more, so they can always take the organization to the next level of success as they continue to serve that overarching why. And they deliver an exceptional experience to the audience they serve that keeps them coming back and wanting more. I'm Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader. Thanks for joining me, and have a great day.